I like baked beans cold from the tin.
So do I. I genuinely, people think this is ridiculous. I love baked beans cold from the tin.
So do I.
Perfect. With a fork or spoon?
Spoon.
Spoon. I prefer a fork, so you can skewer the last ones.
Yes, but what about the tomatoey sauce?
Oh, you're right.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network, a fine network. It's Thursday, May 16th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. We love to see you. Hit the like button and subscribe. Before we get into the games, I would like to thank the 50 to 60 people yesterday who reminded me why I say Alec Burks' name like Alec Burks. It's a Seinfeld reference. It was always a Seinfeld reference. Here's a screen grab from that episode where they see Alec Berg. He's got a good John Houseman name, says Jerry. Alec Berg, Mr. Berg. That's where Alec Burks comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
What's a John Houseman name?
Oh, Jesus. That's like a guy that won like a best supporting actor in the 70s. He's like a British guy. I think he was a lawyer in some famous film in the 70s and a real proper, like, Mr. Berg. I think that's the reference.
Okay, so a character he plays is named Alec Berg.
I'm going to have another 50 or 60 people write in and tell me who John Houseman is now in that reference.
Well,
yeah.
It sounds to me like John Houseman is a character actor.
Yes.
And Alec Berg was a character actor, right?
Yes, what's funny is there's an actual Alec Berg who was a writer on Seinfeld as well, and is like a comedy writer. But yes, the character in the show, for sure.
Well, yeah, so surely in the writer's room they were joking about this man's name. But he's saying it's a John Houseman name. It's like saying you have a great character actor name, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe. But I thought also maybe a character that John Houseman played said names like that, like, Mr. Berg, like that type of thing.
Maybe.
Who knows? Aren't you glad we started with this? But I couldn't believe the response. So many people jumping on that Seinfeld reference. Even our guy John Schumann slided into the DMs, who was listening to the show a little bit later, to let us know Seinfeld reference. That is why we say Alec Berg.
Alec Berg also worked on Curb Enthusiasm, according to Call Emotion.
Yeah.
That was how Houseman spoke. Okay.
See?
Okay. Great.
That's the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Okay, let's get into the games from last night. We had two of them, which could be the last time we see two NBA playoff games in this postseason on the same day. We'll get into the schedule
I hope
later.
so. I hope they don't put conference finals games on the same day.
No, yeah,
they
we don't want that. We don't want that. We could have two games on Sunday, but who knows? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go last night. Luka, he stopped complaining. He just played basketball, put a smile on his face, just focused on basketball, guys, and it worked. 31-point triple-double as the Mavs topped the Thunder in that pivotal Game 5. Dallas leads the series 3-2. This was a really dominant performance from Luka and the entire Mavs team to take control of this series.
Yeah, but it started with Luka for sure. He wiped himself clean of Game 4. Well, he said he spit it clean. After the game, he said, I spit after Game 4. I texted my man, Alex Kursic, is that a Serbian superstition? He said yes. So I consider it probably a Slovenian superstition as well. I would consider it, this is like an Alec Berg mystery. Yeah. I would consider it a former superstition of all the Yugoslav countries. All the former Yugoslavs probably all do a little when they want to get rid of something.
Spit it away.
Yeah. I've been there before as a Greek as well. I've been spit on many times. It's a superstition as well. Anyway, the point is he came in and was amazing. And like you said, he did not complain at all. In fact, when he made a bad pass to Josh Green in the corner, he said, that's my bad. When he got a foul, he said, that's mine. And no complaining at all. And he came in and looked awesome. There was that one play where it looked like he got fouled by the three-point line. He had one hand on the ball and put it up and hit it. It was like a trick shot. And then he went to the one side of the floor and made like a hook shot pass to the other side of the floor. He did a give and go with Kyrie, gave it to him, got it back, threw an alley-oop. He threw like a 70-foot alley-oop.
Oh, that was sick.
From one side. He was good everywhere. 7 of 11 on twos, 5 of 11 on threes, Didn't have to shoot too many free throws. Just got to the free throw line 3 times. Everything was so good from this guy on both. And then he blocked Shea with a minute left.
Yep.
And looked at him, obviously, because those guys have a rivalry. But Luka, one of the best in the game, just played like one of the best in the game. Finally.
Yep. 31 points, 11 assists, 10 boards, and almost 0 complaints. It's
Almost
honestly,
zero
and they kept
complaints.
bringing it up on the broadcast, but it was
Yeah.
fair to bring it up. You said that one where he did get fouled and he hit the circus shot.
He turned around for a split
He
second.
turned around, he thought about it, but nope, and then he just went right back. Like, you could tell it was in his mind, like, okay, I gotta cut that crap out. It's
Yeah.
having an effect on me and probably our team, and obviously good results in Game 5 here.
Yeah, we all remember the LeBron Stoneface game against the Celtics from way back when. This was Luka's serious face. I mean, it wasn't
Almost smiley
stone face.
face, yeah.
He was smiling at times. He was definitely still a little demonstrative, but I thought he was incredible in this game. Afterwards, he said, "Sometimes I forget this is a thing I love." Don't we all, man?
Yeah.
You get lost in the sauce sometimes.
That's
And
right.
he definitely did in Game 4, but he was locked in Game 5, and the Thunder really didn't have any answers for him. He threw 4 alley-oops last night. It was the Duncan Dallas Mavericks. They got 9 dunks. You mentioned the 65-footer to Derrick Jones Jr. I love the play where Derrick Jones Jr. blocks a Chet Holmgren three-pointer, run out on the other end for a dunk there in the fourth quarter. That was really nice. I just thought very good performance by the Mavericks after the way they blew it in the fourth quarter. Dallas has probably been the better team in this series, at least the last 2 games, probably since Game 1, if we're being honest, but they blew it in Game 4 because they couldn't stop fouling and they couldn't get stops in the fourth quarter. In this one, the Mavs never trailed after being down 8-7. They led the last 44 minutes of the game, and this is the fewest points that Oklahoma City has scored all season. Mavericks were good on both ends last night.
Yeah, for sure. Derrick Jones Jr., sort of the secondary star in this one for Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
It had been P.J. Washington for a good chunk of this series, but this was Derrick Jones Jr.'s game. Playoff career high, 19 points. He had 15 first-half points. He was perfect, 6 for 6. He had hit 3 threes. Now, it's part of the Thunder's defensive game plan. Obviously, it's like, we got to leave somebody open. We're going to leave him. They had left Washington, like I said before, but he took advantage. He had the dunks. I mean, we know he's an athletic freak, but for him to hit those 3 threes in the first half and again, stay perfect there through the first 24 minutes, they needed that. You know, you always need, somebody's got to help out the star. We've seen it time and time again in this postseason where guys go for 50 or they have big games, the superstars, but you need somebody else to chip in, and OKC didn't get it last night. Shea, I thought, was pretty damn good. Nobody jumped on board. Nobody really helped him out in the scoring department. But Derrick Jones Jr. was a huge part for the Mavs.
Yeah, hopefully OKC gets Jalen Williams to be Jalen Williams the next game, but he's had a couple bad games in a row in terms of scoring. But Derrick Jones Jr. clearly was P.J. Washington in this game. He took over that role. He had 10 points in the first quarter. He hit his first 6 shots, as you said. He hit another shot that wasn't included, that wasn't counted because there was another foul going on in the play. And 19 overall is a lot. And as you mentioned, Trey, the one that really sealed it was a block on Chet Holmgren at the 3-point line with 2 minutes left. That was nice to get out there and then just sprint. And then Luka found him for an alley-oop.
Yep.
And there you go. That was basically the game. It was awesome. They had to leave him open. And on the other side, Dallas left Lou Dort open. And that didn't work out for Lou Dort.
No,
They've been doing it the whole series. Sometimes he hits threes, sometimes he doesn't. And OKC just couldn't hit threes in this game. That was obviously a problem.
They were abysmal from deep. They shot 25% from 3 on 40 attempts. And look, credit to the Mavs. Like, a lot of guys like sprint out to that line, and you saw a lot of those attempts. And now some of them are open, and they probably should have hit some of them, and maybe they will in Game 6. But like, enough that they run out, and then the guy's got to put the ball on the ground, sort of move over to a side, and then maybe they're a little less out of rhythm there, and they were missing them. But yeah, nobody could hit. Isaiah Joe started, Trey. You've been calling for it, wondering at least if they would take Giddey out of the starting lineup. Dagnall did. Isaiah Joe did not really come through.
Yeah, he picked the wrong guy to start.
Yeah.
Cason Wallace, been saying it since December. The guy should start. He's a better player on both ends than Isaiah Joe. But the space was there for Shea. He got the dunk right away in the first quarter. Isaiah Joe got a look and then made his first 3, and then he made like his next 6, I think, before finally hitting one a little bit later. But Dallas is just packing the paint on SGA. They're at the boxes and elbows every time. Shea will get to the mid-range. He can hit some shots, but Dallas did a good job of defending without fouling. Not a ton of free throws for Shea last night. I thought Jalen Williams did a good job driving the ball, but he wants to drive the ball every time he catches it. He's not really a catch and shoot player. If he does shoot it off the catch, it's off a pump fake and a step to the side. So that's the thing with Dallas. They can pack the paint because they're not worried about anybody else shooting. Chet Holmgren's not shooting the ball very well. Very slow release. Lou Dort takes forever to shoot threes as well. So they can just wait in the lane and try and challenge. Obviously, the the Thunder weren't able to make Dallas pay. 10 for 40 then. The other big concern that OKC had coming into the playoffs was rebounding, and they got crushed on the glass 46-33. It was 12-5 in second chance points for the Mavericks. I also thought Gafford, Lively, and then PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. as like the bigger forwards, they were monstrous inside. They completely shut down the paint for OKC.
Yeah. Oh, they were huge. Yeah, they were. And that's what OKC will be looking for in the offseason. Somebody big to play beside Chet, just a large person. Because the other Jalen Williams probably makes the most sense in terms of height off the bench. But Casey Wallace is awesome. Isaiah Joe obviously spreads the floor. So they're looking for somebody, anybody. And Josh Giddey ain't that guy. I wonder if he goes into his offseason and changes his shot form, because he starts with the ball, his shooting hand on the outside, and then it curves in, and it just ain't pretty. But that would have to be a entirely new shot form. And he obviously he hit shots in this game as he does, but he wasn't super aggressive in this game. And you're right, both Lively and Gafford were so good at just blocking off the paint. The guy on the perimeter has to get in front of Shea or get in front of whoever, or Jalen Williams, and then the guy behind him is ready, very, very ready. And then the passes go out to the shooters, and it just wasn't shooting. It wasn't happening out there.
J-Dub, the wing, Jalen Williams, he missed all 3 of his threes, and he has not scored more than 20 points in any game in this series. He finished with 12 in Game 5, very quiet 12. This is a guy that shot really well from 3 in the regular season. I think it was like 42%. They need Shea and the Thunder need him to have a big Game 6, I think, for them to obviously try and extend this to 7. Now, he was a little banged up, I know, at times in the series too, but yeah, somebody's got to be the secondary guy here, because Shea, 30 points? I mean, did it all. It wasn't incredible, but he was getting a little bit more to the rim at times because things had opened up there with Isaiah Joe, but he did his part. Nobody else helped out. But the Mavs, man, you're right, Trey, you said it. They've completely outplayed them over the course of this series. And that's why they have a 3-2 lead here. But the 6 lob dunks, I mean, those are demoralizing too. Like, especially when you're throwing from 70 feet and you can't even see that one camera angle where you can't even see, I guess, was it Lively on that one? Yeah. You're like, who's he throwing it to? And suddenly he comes screaming in. Yeah. Luka was just on one last night. Felt good. I thought he was more aggressive. We had talked about that. Like, he did it once. There was one time where they had the high pick and roll, and then he was waiting for Dort to catch up. You're like, what are you doing? But a lot of the other times, it was just sort of him, less even getting a screen there. It was just letting him operate. And when he's got the 3 going, he's just become so dangerous with that little step to the side left. And he was banging that home. Awesome game from Luka. We'll see. Do you like the chances of OKC to get this to 7? Or do you think Dallas takes care of business there on Saturday? This game's on Saturday night. Yeah.
Who knows? I would like to see a supporter, as you said, for Shea, who was awesome. He was going into the bigs. There was that lefty finish on Gafford. He was doing as much as he could. But somebody to splash some shots, really, Lou Dort is free to shoot, and that is clear. And the air balls, I don't know if that rolls into Game 6, but he shot an air ball late in this game with a couple of minutes left.
Yes. That was about 3 feet short.
It was very short.
Not close.
Very Dort.
Yeah. It was short. Yeah. Lou Dort, that's his name. Good one.
Because they're clearly they were leaving 2 starters open in Lou Dort and Josh Giddey. And they can't leave Isaiah Joe open. So this guy, if it's the same lineup, he's going to continue to have a wide open 3-point shot. And that's what killed him. It killed him at the end. And even Mark Dagnall said, we got to go to the hack of Lively. As they tried before earlier in this series, he hit both. Lively looking good out there in the one time they hacked him. And I said, what is the best term, the word to, if a guy is able to go to the line after a hack and do it? Some great suggestions from our fans. Crack a hack, hack attack. Best one, I think, no hackbacks.
So the term for, you try the hack a strategy, but it doesn't work. It backfires.
Yes.
And that's the term.
Yeah, the guy who overcomes it.
Good. Those are all 3.
No hackbacks.
No hackbacks from Michael Ivan. That was a nice one. That was a nice one.
That's good.
And then, Doncic blacks. No, that doesn't work. No, but he blocked it right after that. Yeah, I was trying to get a hack. Anyways, but the block against Shea, this game ended just poorly for OKC with the air ball, and then Lively went to the line, and then the Doncic block. So it just feels like now we're getting close to the semifinals here, where Tatum's making his way, Jokic is making his way, maybe a Brunson, and then maybe, it's Luka or Shea in the fourth one. So we've got 4 of the best here going towards the semifinals, which is fun.
Jokic versus Luka could be very fun Western Conference Finals, but we still got these series going on here. You never know if we get some Game 7s, and then it's a anything can happen situation. Any other thoughts on this one, TK?
Kyrie Irving only had 12 points, but I did feel like he was a little bit more aggressive looking for his shot. He passed up an easy floater he could have had in the fourth quarter to try and throw an oop to, I believe it was Lively. Lively was covered. Could have been a shot by Kyrie, but I thought he was more in scoring mode than just distribution mode. But one thing I didn't see coming, Jaden Hardy minutes?
Yeah.
What?
I played 15 minutes last night and didn't play terribly. He only scored 2 points, took 5 shots, 1 for 5. You know he's going to get it up, but basically the Mavericks needed another ball handler to play alongside Kyrie Irving. Tim Hardaway Jr. isn't a guy who puts the ball on the floor and make plays. So when they're doubling Kyrie, he's able to get the ball, and it ends up in Jaden Hardy's hands, and he'll try and make something happen. I thought he at least gave him a tiny bit of a boost.
Yeah, they said, Dante Exum, you're out of the lineup. Jaden Hardy, you're in. The G League Ignite graduate. And he set up both bigs from set to set. He gave Lively one, he gave Gafford one, and then Jason Kidd playing with the Kyrie, Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway lineup. The trio there, that's questionable. And it didn't work out. But they yanked it. They said no. And it didn't work during the regular season either. But yeah, he was out there. Yeah, it didn't always work out. But he was that. He was a handler who could penetrate. And the passes were good. Again, setting up both bigs, Gafford in the first and then Lively in the second. That was big.
It gave the team a little boost. I sometimes think that has an effect on the other guys on the bench or the entire roster, where this guy that's out of the rotation isn't playing all that much, especially a young guy, gets an opportunity, even if it's a small one, plays hard, gets a big play, good assist here or there, and it gets everyone going a little bit more, and definitely worked for Kidd. I wasn't expecting it.
No way.
You're right. I was like, whoa, let's see how this goes. But yeah, he played 15 in the end, did he? Wow.
Yeah, 14-38. I'm rounding up,
Okay, good round up.
for him. I also thought you mentioned the Lou Dort miss. Tim Hardaway Jr. had a pretty ugly possession in the first half. Didn't shoot an air ball in his first 3-point attempt because it hit above the square on the glass. Somehow Dallas gets the offensive rebound because nobody's anticipating the ball ricocheting that high off the glass. Gets another look, and he does airball this one from the corner. That was pretty ugly. But then guess what? Next time he touched the ball, shot it, and a swish.
Yeah. I was having flashbacks to our Tuesday night pickup run where that one guy shot the ball off the top of the backboard and you somehow got it. It's like, oh my God. It was one of those nights where the ball was not bouncing my team's way. It was very frustrating. Maybe the OKC felt the same, but that was, we had some crazy shot attempts in this game.
Yeah, there's some bad misses in this game.
Misses, but these teams are playing hard. I love this series. I hope we get a 7-game series because I just love watching these two teams compete.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see if they stick with Isaiah Joe. Do you go back to Giddey? Do you try Wallace? Do you even try Wiggins? Like, what will they do here in a must-win situation in Dallas on Saturday?
Yeah, obviously the Minnesota Timberwolves were an incredible defense to start round 2 against the Denver Nuggets, but I think this has been the best defensive series in round 2. Both teams going at it, because the scores are very low on both teams. So I don't think it's just bad offense. I think it's just incredible defense on both
they're playing
ends.
hard,
they
everybody.
Are. Yeah, the Mavs play hard from the corners. Everybody, Josh Green is flying in for offensive rebounds. PJ Washington, who was captain corner in game 4. There's got to be some sort of nicknames. Ian Eagle gave PJ Washington the captain corner, but these guys, all of them, are all captain corners. There's a Mavs corners, something there. Anyway.
Colonel corner.
Well, the Chevy Trax takes corners exceptionally well. Said no one ever.
Motor Trend, one of the finest handling crossover vehicles, I heard.
Yes.
3 years running.
Okay, anything else on this series here? We'll just wait for Saturday. See if Shea, and really I do believe J-Dub can give us a Game 7. They're going to have to be pretty special there because this Dallas Mavericks defense is locked in. And Luka, if he doesn't complain again, plays with a smile, he's dangerous. It really worked. All right. The first game last night, Tatum scored 25. The real story is probably Al Horford, which I know we'll talk about. But the Celtics beat the Cavs 113-98. They are into their 3rd consecutive Eastern Conference Finals. Now, the Cavs extremely shorthanded. Still no Donovan Mitchell in this game. Has he played his last game with the Cavs? It's very possible. No Jared Allen once again. That's 8 straight games he missed with that rib injury. And then no Karis LeVert either. They put up a fight. Once again, they were in it for a good 3 quarters and change, but Celtics a little too much. And like I said, Al Horford was the star. 22 points, 15 boards, 5 assists, and 6 threes from the 38-year-old. Well, almost 38-year-old Al Horford.
A week away.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No,
17 days.
Okay, close.
I'm looking at something here which tells me it's 17 days away.
Interesting. So he might get to celebrate during the NBA Finals.
Very much.
Yes.
Wow, that could be a big week for Al Horford. A birthday and perhaps an NBA championship.
I think it
Really makes you think.
I think it's just before the finals would start this year.
Okay.
So,
Okay, final start
okay.
June 6th.
yeah, hold on. Let's get the date. It's June 3rd.
Wow.
Oh, ooh, I don't know. I remember when Chris Paul had a birthday late in the season. He was like awesome, and then he turned 38 or 39, and then he completely fell off the hill. So be careful. Yeah, this was weird because I thought at the beginning of the game, too much Al Horford, and then at the end of the game, perfect amount of Al Horford. In the second quarter, there were 5 possessions that the Celtics had, and 4 of them ended in an Al Horford three-pointer. He was 1 for 4, and I was like, why are so many possessions ending with Al Horford here? But then in the fourth, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 4 of those offensive, and then 2 assists as well. He made so many hustle plays that the save he had in the corner in the first half made the condensed highlights of the NBA.com plays of this game. Like, the guy saved the ball in the corner. And they're like, hey, we got to keep this one in because look at him running around out there. He was awesome, though. It was really good. I thought the Celtics, in general, had a pretty good game plan coming into this one because we knew Cleveland wanted to take as many three-pointers as possible, so the Celtics just ran them off the line the entire night. Only 31 total attempts from 3 for Cleveland. 12 of those came in the second half. Boston made 19 threes. That's basically the game right there. On the other end, they put Darius Garland into action almost every single time. They would either force a help on the pick and roll, whether it's a double, or they would beat him off the dribble, get into the lane, draw help, zip, zap, zop. It's either an easy layup or an easy three-pointer.
Yeah.
Celtics played math game. They had 32 assists on 42 makes. Outside of Marcus Morris cooking for the first half. That was wild. That was pretty sweet for the Celtics.
Yeah, Morris Sr. there with 25 points. Guy couldn't miss there for a stretch of this game.
Yeah, I took a screen grab of the stat for Al Horford at the end of this game. It was oldest in playoff history with 15-plus points, 5-plus three-pointers made, and 10-plus rebounds at 37 years and 347 days. That's why I knew it was 18 days, now 17 days away from the old man's 38th birthday. Congrats to Al and Tito in front row.
Yeah.
He had the credential on to pass on to get him into the arena.
They gave him the good seats.
Oh, yeah.
He's not usually courtside.
No.
Yeah.
Got him there.
They knew They knew Al was gonna ball out tonight.
Yeah.
Close out the series.
It's awesome for Boston because Kristaps can take as much time as he wants, and he is back on the floor. He is training, and Al Horford in there to be the best version of himself this year, obviously.
Yeah, it's true. There's no promise Porzingis is ready to start the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
We don't know that, and I guess people that did see him warm up, maybe it was before Game 4, Porzingis I'm talking about, they said he looked slow. It wasn't like he was moving at 100%. So we'll see, but they obviously took care of business. That's the other part. Nobody else got injured. I mean, that was a good game plan. Just get through these series without any other injuries of note to your star players. And yeah, kudos to the Cavs. Again, they put up a fight here, and maybe that's the Celtics not taking it all that serious for 36 minutes or so, but this was 88-85 early in the fourth quarter, and I'm sure a lot of people are going, oh my God, Boston, are you kidding me? You're going to make this go 6 or going back to Cleveland? What are you doing? You're playing with your food. But then they went on that 13-2 run, took control of the game, and they move on to another Eastern Conference Finals. This will be Jaylen Brown's 6th Eastern Conference Finals appearance, Tatum's 5th. Pretty incredible, really, when you think about a league now that there is quite a bit of parity. For them to just be this good, this consistently, they just got to win the big one, which is what Draymond Green was talking about with Tatum after the game. Hey, nobody cares. Some truth to it. There's some truth to it.
Absolutely.
But we'll see here who now they play, either the Knicks or Pacers.
It's great to see Evan Mobley have his best game of the playoffs and have a best second time through the playoffs than last year. It wasn't all that good. And Evan Mobley was just good in this game where he was on every sort of dive to the hoop. He was getting the pass, every sort of off the ball pick and dive to the hoop. blocked Tatum on the first possession. Then Tatum went at him later on and got him on his heels a little bit. But he went and scored on Tatum as well. He had a beautiful spin, hit a lefty hook over Luke Cornett. It was Mobley versus Cornett at times in this game, and Mobley won. But it's, we can get into, the Cleveland offseason story, but there's a lot of questions just in terms of how much duplication they have in their positions with Mobley and Allen, and then you mentioned Garland and Mitchell, right, because on the defensive end, that's a little scary for the Cavs going forward.
Yeah, Mobley sort of appeared to thrive as the center in this series. He played better. This was the one positive. He had 33, playoff career high.
That was a game plan, though, for the Celtics.
Yeah,
they were trapping Darius Garland. They were doing anything to not give up a three. So Mobley was running down. Yeah, right, JD?
Hi.
Am I right? Mobley was cutting down the lane with nobody around him. They were like, we're going to give up that two every single time. He took 24 shots. It's Timofey Mozgov in the finals again. That was the game plan for the Celtics, but at least he performed. I'm with you. He looked great in this playoffs, and I think that that's encouraging going forward for the Cavs, because they only need one of those big guys.
Absolutely.
The one who plays.
So let's talk about it. Obviously, the article is already out there on The Athletic. Shams and friends writing about, what happens this offseason with Donovan Mitchell, with JB Bickerstaff, and this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Mitchell is eligible to sign a contract extension, but he has not given any indication that he's eager to stay or leave, if we're being honest. If he doesn't extend this offseason, though, Cleveland practically would have no choice but to trade him, I think, if he doesn't sign the extension. And then you get into the whole Allen and Mobley duplication thing there. What do you think, TK? I mean, you're on record thinking Mitchell is probably going to be moved. You still believe that, I assume, after what we saw them go out? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it takes another season. Maybe he does sign this 4-year, $208 million deal and then asks out. We've seen that kind of thing happen, but I think it's going to end. I think we've already seen Mitchell's last game as a Cavalier, because he said it's about winning for me, not about winning one round. Literally, he said that after the Cavs tanked to get a first-round matchup favorable to them. Yeah. It went 7 games. They won. They've improved since he's been there. They made it to the playoffs last year, looked bad. Made it to the playoffs this year, won. But we're not close at all to a Celtics team that is, kind of the standard in the Eastern Conference right now. So, I don't know. I think it's more likely that Mitchell leaves and Garland sticks around, though. In the Shams article, basically Darius Garland and his reputation is saying, it's him or me. So, I don't know. I think it'll probably be Garland sticking in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never buy into these articles very much, which were bang on each single time, with Frank Vogel being fired and Darvin Ham being fired. Yeah. They both worked. And in this JB Bickerstaff situation, definitely different than those who had a far shorter tenures as coaches there. With Darvin Ham had 2 years, Frank Vogel had 1 year. Bickerstaff has had a 5.5-year run here. So that, to me, would be the step to trying to get Garland and Mitchell work together for a full season, because it obviously didn't even work in the regular season. It wasn't ideal in the regular season. They thrived around Mitchell and 3 shooters right there and Allen at center. And the puzzle is, those 2 guys, the 2 guys in the backcourt and Garland Mitchell can get attacked defensively. And Evan Mobley is just so damn good defensively. He's one of the best defenders in the league at the 5. That's what he should be playing. And he is literally a very similar player to Jared Allen, because they both don't shoot threes. I know he did get Mobley did get better percentage-wise this year in threes, but it's just not part of his game. So that's the interesting part. If you give up on Darius Garland, who's got a very nice 15% trade kicker, that's a lot of dough. So I don't know. This is a tough one. I do think the answer is, though, new coach. Let's see if we can get it to work with our current roster and give them 1 more year to see if it works.
They never even played together in the regular season. Their 4 main guys, Mitchell, Allen, Garland, and Mobley, played 28 games together. Under 400 minutes they shared the court. It wasn't like lights out when they were out there, but there was very little chance for us to see this team with these 4 guys. League sources in that article briefed on the Cavaliers' mindset told The Athletic that Bickerstaff's job is in serious jeopardy. It got the serious in front of the jeopardy there. And then 2 league sources said the team is likely to take some time, multiple days, to make a decision. You're right. JB Bickerstaff is going to be fired, Tess. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. This is why we get these articles. These people are talking to people in the front offices. Happened with Phoenix and Vogel, happened with the Lakers and Darvin Ham, and it's going to, unfortunately or fortunately, maybe it depends on what you think of him, it's going to happen here with Bickerstaff and the Cavs.
Yeah.
Because he's even had a longer. That sort of shocked me how long he'd been there. I don't know why. I was like, no, he's been there that long.
Beeline had to take the beeline out of there.
That's right.
Yeah, and this one it's got more legitimacy to me than the first two because 1 year fired, 2 years fired. I mean the Lakers situation specifically. It orbits around LeBron, and in the Sun situation, that was even weirder to me. How Vogel just got 1 year, and Matt Ishbia said, well, "We need somebody," and so they found somebody else. And Budenholzer. This one makes a little bit more logical sense, and the great part about these articles is the tidbits throughout the story, throughout the season. The season's a little juicy bits.
It's always about a game in December.
Oh yeah.
It's always about a specific moment, a game.
Absolutely.
Where a team or a player turns
With the Suns, it was Frank Vogel yelling at them, and they're all like, "You don't yell at us."
Yeah.
Look at this guy yelling. I believe every one of these, and they're all true. And JB Bickerstaff is going to be done with the Cavs. You guys are right. They have. It's weird because I do feel like the Cavs have been getting better and better, going farther and farther, right? They were in the play-in, then they were in the playoffs, then they won a playoff series, but also every second half of the season, they're way worse. Also, when they play their four best players together, it doesn't work all that well. It's easier to change the coach, and then, you mentioned that he lost the locker room, and this is in December. It's 5 months later, so I think he's gone. And then I did not like reading about Jared Allen in this one, I'll say.
Yeah.
They're basically like, this guy's soft. That's what it's read to me. He wouldn't take an injection, so he would go out and play in the playoffs.
Yep, that's in that article. Mm-hmm. Go read it.
And that, to me, with the way last year went when he literally said the lights were too bright, and then now they're basically calling him out as being a softie, not coming back to play through injury. I think he's done as a Cav because Mobley was good as a center. Even playing against a big team like the Magic in the first round, he went 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 55% from the field. Did hit a couple of threes in the playoffs, but a pretty solid performance. But the Cavs owe their draft picks from 2025 to 2029. All of them go to the Jazz.
Yeah.
They've got swaps in 26 and 28, so I think probably makes sense to trade Jared Allen, get some of that draft capital back because you're probably going to be building a little bit here, I think, in Cleveland.
Maybe the Pelicans as a Valanciunas sort of replacement?
Sure.
Possibly. I know that he's been linked
I don't
to
know
him.
if I love Jared Allen next to Zion.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. There's complications there, but...
The five's got to stretch the floor. Jared Allen doesn't do that. So that would be the complication in New Orleans. Every team wants to do it, and that's why the Cavs should be doing it. They need to. Evan Mobley is a better perimeter defender than Jared Allen, as good as he is a defender. You see what Evan Mobley does to each and every perimeter defender, and that's why he was voted on an all-defensive team in just year 2 last year. This is just year 3. So Jared Allen's an older dude. That's part of it. He's got a very, very nice $20 million per year contract for these next 2 years. That's nice in today's NBA. That's
That's it?
Yeah, that's your Vucevic.
Oh, they need some shooting, am I right?
There you go.
That guy was the worst high-volume three-point shooter in the league. I can see a deal getting done here.
For sure.
Vucevic was the worst high-volume three-point shooter in the league.
Yes, he was.
He would know.
That's not
You don't need to fact check that one,
29%.
man.
It was the worst year in almost his whole career. That's pretty bad. But Evan Mobley is
he's due for a bounce back then.
Yes, I will be using that propaganda all summer.
Quick update. We need a quick update on our Instigator draft we did prior to the playoffs.
Okay.
It's very, very fun to give you the scoring system. This is how it works. A technical foul will earn you 1 point. A flagrant 1 will also earn you 1 point. A flagrant 2, 2 points. An ejection, 3 points. A suspension, 5 points. So we did some drafting. We each got 3 players.
What about a fine? Did we decide on 1 point for that? Because we did have someone that get fined.
Who got fined? Depends on the guy. Depends on the situation.
Rudy got fined.
Yeah, for money.
Oh, yeah, Gobert is on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you can take it.
I think
Trey.
it's a point. I think it's a point. Yeah. Okay.
I give Trey a point otherwise because he doesn't have good scoring. So
I know. I actually hated to see Luka keeping his cool yesterday.
Right.
This is bad.
Right.
I thought he was going to be complaining all season long, which he has been. It's a last night.
Yeah, we drafted 3 teams. Trey had Doncic, Gobert, and Wagner. Don't call me Wagner, but I did for the title of his team, DGW.
Right.
Yeah.
Dogs Gone Wild.
Right.
Now has 3 points.
Okay.
2 techs from Doncic and 1 fine point from Gobert. That's it. Wagner, 0. 0 on
Yeah.
here. Surprising.
Yeah, he got. Who did he get to get?
It was early. It was early in that series.
It was in game 1. It was within 3 minutes of checking in.
He actually was living up to the name Instigator Draft. He just didn't get penalized in any scoring from us.
Right.
Yeah.
So Trey's in third, and the other two of us are tied for first.
Okay.
Matter of fact.
Wow.
So Skeets had Beverly, Niang, and Nurkic. Unfortunately, Skeets, those guys are all
I know.
Gone.
My team's done.
Which is odd because the name of your team was BNN, Beverly, Niang, Nurkic, all business News Network.
Right.
That's the name of it, Business News Network. You had 7 points because you had a Niang Tech, a Beverly Tech, and a Beverly suspension for next season.
Yeah, that was good. That was huge for me. Beverly played his part, man.
Which is weird because he may not even be suspended because he may not be back in the league. But you never know.
It's true.
You never know. He could be. So you have 7.
Okay.
While my Tatum, Portis, and Edwards, my Teapot Exchange, we got to spill some tea, also has 7. We got tied last night because Tatum had a tech against the Cavs. He had another tech against the Cavs. He had a flagrant against Karis LeVert as well. So he's had
Tatum was a great pick, man.
Sleeper pick.
3 points to go along with Portis's 4. Bobby was ejected once, and Bobby had a tech with getting into it with James Johnson. So.
We all did a pretty decent job drafting guys that were going to get dinged with these. So you are in the driver's seat because you got Tatum. You got at least...
And currently in Edwards right now.
And Curly
as well.
and Edwards, we'll see if they can, obviously continue their season. But let's not count out Luka, okay? Let's not count out Luka. He would have to get really pushed to the edge. Luka would have to basically throw a punch at somebody for you to maybe to come back and win this thing.
Yeah,
That'll be tough.
maybe we'll see. He can get angry.
But you're sitting pretty with Tatum there. Obviously,
nice.
going to play 4 to 14 games still left in him.
Right.
You know he's going to get at least one more tech. Good stuff. Thank you for the update. You got to give me all that information. I'll make a graphic.
Yeah,
with all
I was
that.
thinking, man.
Yeah.
Got to make a spreadsheet, but I'm like, maybe later. I don't know what we're playing for, or if the loser has to do something, or if the winner gets something.
Right.
Because usually we do the pick and payoffs. The loser has to do something.
The winner
dumb.
gets to watch the other two guys fight.
Cool. Eggs him on. Get him.
Can't let him say that. Oh, by the way, while we're speaking of all this, did you see another, quick correction? And this was my doing. Man, we all seem to agree with it. It wasn't Alec Burks' hand that was pushing back. Who was it again on the other team on the Pacers? Miles Turner, was it?
No, it was Isaiah Jackson.
Isaiah Jackson, thank you. It was Isaiah Hartenstein's hand.
Yeah, it was weird.
But it looks... I watched it 10 times going, hold on, is it? It is. It's Hartenstein putting the little...
Gets it up in there in a weird way.
But it looks like it's Burks' hand.
Sidled up in.
It's so crazy. So anyway, just keeping note.
Yep.
Keeping notes.
Keeping notes. All right, those are last night's games. We'll talk about the Cavs. We'll see what they do. We'll get into a whole lot more about the Mitchell situation, maybe potential trades, and we'll wait to see if Bickerstaff gets canned. We got shows all throughout the postseason, all throughout the summer, so don't you worry about that. But I thought this would be fun coming off of Jokic's monster Game 5 performance there in that pivotal Game 5 the other night to run through the top 5 Nikola Jokic playoff games.
Top five.
Top 5 Jokic playoff games. Guys, there are a lot of games to pick from. This guy's put up some monster numbers in something like 78 playoff starts. Guy's got 58 double-doubles and 18 triple-doubles in his postseason career. But I got a top 5 for you. And interestingly, some of them come in losses. And I think I figured out a way to beat Jokic, to beat at least his team. Let him get monster lines. At number 5 on the list, 2019 first round versus the Spurs. This is a Game 6. This is Jokic's first playoff series. 43 points, 19 for 30 from the floor, 12 boards, 9 assists, 2 steals. But this was a big Spurs win in Game 6, mainly because Denver got outscored 30-18 in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't because of Jokic. He did his part. In the second half, he scored 27 points on 13 for 16 shooting. Jamal Murray scored 5, and nobody else scored more than 3. He got no help in this Game 6, but the 43, 12, and 9, not bad. And he did come through in Game 7. In this series, he went for 21, 15, and 10, despite shooting 35% from the floor in a bit of a dogfight Game 7 to win his first playoff series versus the Spurs when he got in there in 2019. So that gets us started on the list. but it's a loss.
They beat DeMar. That was a DeMar DeRozan Spurs series that they got him.
It's a weird team.
That's right.
DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, Jakob Poeltl, and Derek White all starting
Wow.
for the Spurs.
All right, number 4 on the list. Same year, next series, 2019 conference semifinals versus Portland. I'm picking game 3 from this series because this was the quadruple overtime game. He went for 33, 18, and 14. But the fun part is Jokic played 65 minutes. Again, it was a loss for Denver and Jokic. Portland won 140 to 137. But man, Jokic playing 65 minutes. I mean, you remember this wild-ass game where everybody was, of course, playing heavy minutes because it went to quadruple overtime. But I just wanted to illustrate this one because, it's a fun thing to be like, this guy's not in shape. This guy can't run up and down the floor. Well, he played the most minutes in the game, again, in his first playoff sort of run here. And had a really good game, 33, 18, and 14. But
is that the most playoff minutes ever? In a game? I mean, there can't be a lot of games where a guy's going close to 65 minutes.
Yeah,
that's impossible.
It was 64 minutes and 58 seconds, I think. So I'm rounding up by 2 seconds. But yeah, I mean, you could check it. It's got to be close to it.
Gotta be.
How many games have gone to quadruple overtime, let alone a guy play that many?
In
the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
Cool. I forgot to click the playoffs.
I will say, in that series, in game 1, which was a victory for the Nuggets, he went for 37 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He was perfect at the line, and he went 11 for 18. So he had a really good game 1 there in that conference semifinals.
All right, 4th most minutes ever.
In a playoff
game. Most since the 1950s. I don't know what happened. There was a game on March 21st, 1953 between the Boston Celtics and the Syracuse Accusers. And Bob Cousy, Paul Seymour, and Red Roche all played 66 to 67 minutes in that game.
Wow.
An absolute barn burner. 111-105 in 4 overtimes.
Oh, wow.
Barn burner.
Even 140 to 137 is like for quadruple overtime.
Not a crazy high score.
Crazy. This is 5 years ago at this point, but that's number 4 on the list for Jokic's best playoff performances.
It's funny you mention the fitness of Jokic because it was a big time criticism of him early in his career, and I think about this all the time. When he came back to the bubble, he looked so much skinnier after hanging out with Novak Djokovic, and Lee said, I don't know if he's going to be effective now that he lost weight. The guy has gone on like the best 5-year stretch we've seen in a decade after that. Getting in shape works for basketball, it turns out.
Yeah. He used to be a chubby man.
Yeah.
He's obviously 6 straight playoff runs here. It's odd when you look at all the playoff games that he's played in, and the fact that him and Jamal Murray, when they play in a series together, haven't lost a round 1. They always go to a round 2 or a round 3. Yeah, it's some bad seasons. I mentioned Jamal Murray in there because, he got bounced in the first round without Jamal Murray once, but he keeps going, and he keeps going, I guess because he's fit. That's got to be a part.
Well, you get ready to see, because I already saw it. If we get Jokic versus Luka, there's a Photoshop going around, like the NBA YouTube thumbnail where it says like game highlights and then it shows the 2 stars. The Photoshop is them super chunky, super fat looking. It looks hilarious. Luka, gigantic face and all that. Jokic, same thing. I know that's making the rounds, and I'm sure it will only catch fire even more if they actually meet in the Western Conference Finals.
It's coming back from going into the bubble. A lot of people were either gaining weight or losing weight.
It's true.
Yeah.
He elected to lose weight.
Yeah.
He's been pretty good since. All right, number 3 on the list for Jokic performances in the playoffs. 2023 conference semifinals versus Phoenix, game 4. That's right. 3 I've got on the list so far, all in losses. This is the game he went for 53 points, 20 of 30 shooting, 11 of 13 at the line, 4 rebounds. They kept him off the glass, and 11 assists. 4 of Jokic's highest scoring playoff games all came in losses. 53 versus Phoenix last season, 43 in a first-round series versus the Spurs in 2019, 43 in a first-round series versus the Wolves in 2023 last year, and 41 in the finals versus the Heat in 2023, which was the only game they lost in that series. This is the secret to stop the Nuggets.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think this last Game 5 was the first time that the Nuggets have won a game where Jokic scores 40 or more in a playoff game.
Yeah. It's really, really wild when you think about it.
That Phoenix line there, earlier in the series, he scored 39 and they won. He didn't get to the wire.
That's right.
He
Smart.
just short.
Smart.
When he shot also 30 shots, because I've been looking at how many shots has he
that's
taken the
another
most.
thing to watch, yeah.
Shoot a lot. 31 is the most he's ever taken in a playoff game. As it looked like he was going to do that against the Timberwolves this postseason. He was going to get up to 30, but foul trouble hurt him. But it's a good point here. They're all losses.
Yeah, it's wild. So I had to go with his 53-point game, though, on this list. Another option, though, Game 3 versus Phoenix in that series, which was another loss. He went for 30, 17, and 17. In fact, 4 of Jokic's top 13 playoff games ever, if you're ranking them by Basketball Reference's game score, came in this series versus Phoenix last year. So some of his best work. In the 6 games, he averaged 34.5 points per game, 13 boards, 10 assists with a block and a steal, shooting almost 60% in that series, which is just mind-blowing. But that's number 3 on the list. Let's get to a win. Number 2, last year's conference finals, Game 1 versus the Lakers. 34 points, 12 of 17 shooting, 3 of 3 from deep, 21 rebounds, and 14 assists. He pulled down a dozen rebounds and had 5 assists and 8 points in the first quarter of that Game 1 versus the Lakers. He had 8, 12, and 5 in the first quarter. That set the tone. This was a monster win. This was a monster game for a lot of guys. Denver won 132-126. You had Jamal Murray scoring 31. He was battling an ear infection, I had to be reminded of. AD went for 40 and 10. LeBron had 26, 12, and 9. Even KCP and Austin Reeves both scored over 20 points. So everybody was on fire in Game 1. But the Nuggets hadn't beaten the Lakers in a Game 1 since like 79. So this was huge for them. And he was awesome. I mean, 34, 21, and 14. I remember us talking about this one.
So whoever they play in this year's conference finals, if they do Game 1, you got to be scared.
Game 1.
You got to be
One's a
scared.
monster.
Yes.
I was surprised we didn't get a shot over Anthony Davis.
That was this game. Yeah.
That was this game?
Well, he had a big one at the end of the quarter. You're thinking of the...
I'm thinking the gem, the back 3-point shot.
Right.
Wild. That was the Game 4 to seal it.
Yes. But he did hit a big one in this Game 1. I was looking at the highlights. It was at the end of a quarter, I think. And AD was right there contesting it, and he just hit his classic, like, dad driveway shot. We're like, oh, come on, man. He was a monster. But his number 1 game, it is what just happened this week. When you look at it, and especially when you take into consideration the 0 turnovers and a 2-2 series, the pivotal Game 5, I'm talking about 2024 here, conference semifinals versus Minnesota. Had the 40-burger, 15 of 22. He had 7 boards, 13 assists, and again, 0 turnovers. Just a masterpiece is what people were calling it. And that's why I was like, hold on, has he done better? And really not when you're thinking of just like the percentages, the game, the importance of that game number, and just the flawlessness of the 13 assists and 0 turnovers. Mwah! Chef's kiss here.
He's very good.
From the Joker. And if we get a Game 7, I just thought this is a final note to throw in here. He's played in 4 Game 7s over a 2-year span in 2019 and 2020. Remember, they kept going to 7 games?
Yeah.
They won 3 of them and lost 1. So if Minnesota can give us a Game 7 for the weekend, he's had a pretty good record.
Came back from down 3-1 twice.
That's right.
The same playoffs.
Same playoffs.
Yeah.
That's bubble time,
Doc.
isn't it?
Bubble time.
Sorry, Doc. They beat Duck River.
Yeah,
Sorry, Doc.
too.
Sorry, Doc. So there it is.
I got
There's a million other games.
Game 3 of the finals didn't make the cut.
Yeah, sure, it could have.
32, 20, and 10. It's the
good.
only 30-point, 20-rebound triple-double in NBA history.
How did he shoot in that game? Did he shoot, like, it may have got docked a little bit.
Yeah, he was only 12 for 21.
Well, that's
Only
good.
57%.
Geez, that's bad for him.
This guy's a monster, man.
That's following up the monster one that he
41
lost.
points.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, at 41 in the loss against Miami.
It's crazy. It's crazy that he's when it's all said and done here, he's going to be he'll be knocking on the door of 100 playoff starts somewhat soon, maybe in a couple of years, maybe a year or 2.
Yeah, next season, probably.
Yeah, he's at 78 already. There it is, top 5. Like Trey just did, I'm missing some, so let me know in the comments. Before we go, tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Tweet of the night from Sam Quinn, CBS, over at CBS Sports. He was upset about nicknames. This is what Sam wrote, okay? NBA nicknames have gotten so lazy. Jokic is Joker? How original. Dude barely smiles. Anthony Edwards becomes Ant? Question mark there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is SGA? I could go on. What happened to Chocolate Thunder? The round mound of rebound. We used to be a country. So, Sam, not happy with some of the lazy, if you want to call it, nicknames. But I say, Sam, we're trying to play our part when it comes to stupid nicknames and weird nicknames and original nicknames. Obviously, PJ Washington, the Chevy Trax. I don't think it's on Basketball Reference. It should be. Other ones we've pushed or even come up with. Kevin Durant as the Durantula or Durantula. We were pushing that one for a long time. Never really caught on. Chris Quinn, the Medicine Man. Joe Johnson, the Armadillo Cowboy. The weirdest one. Good Gordon Hayward. Chris Middleton, the Ferris Wheel.
I love it.
Gravis Vasquez. Gray Biscuits, Dad's Quest. Why that one never caught on, I'm not sure.
Yeah, who
anyway,
knows?
we're trying to be original. Come on, Sam.
Come on, Sam.
Sam Quinn, the Medicine Man.
Is the assistant to the Medicine Man. I mean, Charles Barkley's got 1,000 nicknames on his page, on his Basketball Reference page. Sir Charles, the round mound of rebound, the Chuckster, the Chuck Wagon, the Prince of Pizza, the Incredible Bulk, the Leaning Tower of Pizza, Bread Truck, Boy Gorge, Love Boat,
Boy Gorge,
Food World, the Crisco Kid, Wide Load from Leeds, Ton of Fun, and the Good Time Blimp. Those are all names on his
nicknames about him being fat. Boy Gorge, Wide Load from Leeds.
The Crisco Kid. That's pretty brutal.
Those are.
I have a small working theory of maybe why we've gotten a little lazier with nicknames, or at least they're not as original as they used to be. Here's my working theory. People have cooler names now. Like, a lot of these guys we're talking about here that he's saying, oh, these are boring names. Okay, maybe not Anthony Edwards. I'll give you that one. But, like, Shai, that's a really cool name. Luka, of course.
Is Nikola Jokic a cool name?
I mean, yeah. Obviously,
Joker,
dumbass
Joker
Canadian.
For Jokic, I think, is pretty bad.
Yeah, sure. But I'm just saying, a guy named Charles, you got to get a little more creative.
Yeah.
Just a working theory. Yeah.
I guess that's why Luka Doncic is one of his many nicknames is too easy. It's just too easy to come up with a nickname. Or too hard. No, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I wanted to go through the list of Lucas. That's why I got him here. The Matador, El Matador, Cool Hand, The Don,
Nope.
Wonder Boy, El Nuno Maravilla. Okay, Swaggy L, Luka Legend, Too Easy, Luka Magic.
These are all the only ones that you see are here. Luka Magic gets thrown around. The Donk because of Lee Ellis. And Wonder Boy had a moment. Now he's a man, so it doesn't work.
I think Luka it's just a good one.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it just makes sense.
Yeah.
This one was the Don and not the Donk.
Oh, you said the Donk. So the Donk never made it there.
No. Couldn't cut it.
But the Matador and El Matador made
both.
it? Jeez.
Come on. Temper Boy should be there.
That's not bad. I'm excited for Matas Buzelis to come to the NBA because I think he's got two great nicknames. I'm going to try to call him Meatus Ballzelis.
Good luck with that.
Because a tall, skinny guy nicknamed Meatball is pretty funny.
Okay.
It could catch on, but I think more likely Ball Dano as a nickname for Matas Buzelis.
Yeah.
He looks very much like Paul Dano.
He
but
does.
he plays basketball.
That's good. See,
Ball
that's better.
Dano.
We have to admit, you pushing Meatball for Jalen Brunson,
It ain't working.
It just doesn't work.
Brunson is a good nickname, or a good name as well.
Yeah.
Good last name.
It's a great last name, and it's a second tweet related to that because this is Yaya Dubin on Twitter. Something important that needs to be clarified is that Brunson Burner is not a good nickname for Jalen Brunson. It is, however, a very good name for a specific move, like the in and out into the one-hand layup, or just a general concept of smoking a guy like he put Neesmith in the Brunson Burner. I agree with that.
Gotta agree.
That's perfect. It's not a good nickname for him. You're not going to say, oh, the Brunson Burner, but a move he pulls off like that one where he blows by a guy.
Yeah.
I like that. But he can't be Meatball either. I mean, I love that. Somebody's going to be a Meatball, and I can't wait till the day, but it's not him. Yeah.
Well,
no. It's an interesting guy because he really has no action on Basketball Reference. He's got JB, he's got Brunson Burner, and then he's got Brunts him.
Oh, no.
It's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, it might.
No, it won't.
It might.
It won't.
There isn't a good one out there.
No. but it's a good name. You're right. This is a thing. That's what I'm saying. People got great names.
Got such good names, or they're named Jalen. It's one of the two.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I am surprised, though, about the widespread knowledge of Bunsen burners in general.
Oh, really? You don't think?
I don't know.
You were a science man?
Precisely. I was a science man. As a man of science, I saw Bunsen burners all the time in high school and college. That's why I'm saying, I don't think everybody has a health science degree, right? So maybe not everybody's exposed to a Bunsen burner. Ergo, I'm surprised that everybody's exposed to a Bunsen burner.
Yeah, that's a good poll. Do you know what a Bunsen burner is?
Do you know? Next, we're going to check in on your knowledge of Erlenmeyer flasks.
Okay.
Does anybody know what that is?
See, I mean,
That's where your degree comes from. Bunsen burner, everybody gets in school.
High school,
Grade school,
generally.
Right, and you're often using it with an Erlenmeyer flask. That's the one that goes beep, boop.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That was going to be my guess, by the way.
So
I didn't know it was called that.
So it's narrow up top and then wide base.
I think
that's
so.
what it's
It's your
called.
classic science.
Yeah.
Glass jar or whatever. Not jar.
Yeah, I like that little slanty cylinder.
Bunsen burner.
Flask.
That was fun, man. That was
The word flask for that doesn't seem like the right word.
Did you ever see anybody have to use the eye wash station?
Oh, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I tried to tell my daughter about it, and now they're gone too. They're like Bunsen burners. They're gone.
Oh, they're gone?
Nobody uses them anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, here comes JD. JD knows.
Okay. JD,
Tess, how old is your oldest daughter?
6.
6? They don't give 6-year-olds Bunsen burners.
I know. I'm just Bunsen burners. No, I was telling her about
the eye wash
station. Yeah.
They don't give 6-year-olds that either
No,
because they're
I
not
would
allowed
hope
to
not.
use those.
They probably need them more than anybody,
They're
if
not
we're being
allowed.
honest.
All
you guys say is your kids are sick every time. Like at the end of the day,
You
pull that
wash your
thing
eyes
and-
out.
Yeah, wash your eyes out.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm actually curious to see, put that poll up because I had a cold open lined up about a Bunsen burner.
Okay.
But I'm like,
I think it's going to be.
people know
I
what
think
it
it's
is?
quite high.
I think it's high too, but I wasn't
I sort
sure.
of get what Trey's saying about you just maybe, or maybe people, I don't know. I thought a lot of people did have that in high school at least.
Yeah.
The Bunsen
High school,
burner.
yeah,
Middle
definitely. You would
school
encounter it in high school, and a lot of people in the stream team are saying, I know it from Breaking Bad.
Oh, wow.
Big Bunsen
Them
burner
in the-
resurgence.
cooking it up in the RV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Science, man. Or was he yell at him? Fuck yeah, science or something?
Oh, yeah.
I forget what he yelled. I haven't watched it in a while. All right, we'll get the poll up. Do we have results on the clam chowder versus lobster roll poll that we had going?
Oh, the roll poll. Yeah, let me...
Like, I think it was, last I checked, it was 70-30 people were taking lobster
All right, I'm
roll.
looking only at our Twitter. 63% are going lobster roll over clam
it's
chowder.
lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Here on YouTube, it's 67-33.
Wow.
Lobster roll leading the way.
Okay.
I don't buy that.
I think people were trolling me, is what people said. Because I said it was going to be way high. Like there was votes for clam chowder just to piss me off.
No,
You don't think so?
I say I don't buy it because I expect clam chowder to be higher.
No.
Oh, come on.
No,
It tastes good.
No. 2 out of 3
Lobster
people.
is just-
2 out of 3 people, as we've proven, will take a lobster roll over clam chowder.
No, people just heard about it more. That's what it is. They haven't eaten it. They just haven't heard.
Interesting.
How many people do people know more about clam chowder or Bunsen burners?
If you're from New England, if you're Matt Bonner
that'll
in
be a
New
nice
Hampshire, that's a good question. But I'm telling you, lobster, you got to dunk it in the butter to make it something. It's just bland. Yeah, it's so bad.
They're closing Red Lobsters left and right.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. It ain't good.
Chuck Swirsky's pissed.
He called it the lobster.
Yeah. What? He called it the lobster.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
like,
know you go to Red Lobster too much if you just call it the lobster.
The lobster.
Right, Chuck.
Doesn't shorten the name at all.
He said he hasn't slept in days, is what he said, or something in that tweet. Am I crazy that he said that?
You're not crazy, man.
Yeah, he said he hasn't been able to sleep since they closed a bunch of Red Lobsters.
I'm so bummed out.
Okay, read it.
I am so bummed out Red Lobster is disappearing from the planet. I didn't sleep at all last night. The Lobster was totally underrated. One of my favorite go-to places.
See, he wasn't sleeping.
I think they literally had bad financials because people went crazy for the endless shrimp.
Yeah.
They spent too much money on shrimp.
Yeah, it was our friend Brad. Our friend Brad put him out of business. He was one of those guys.
shrimp
Going
is,
shrimp crazy, man.
shrimp is cheap, I thought, you know.
Yeah, but if you got to give unlimited, it adds up eventually.
Did you guys
I
ever
think they're
go?
just bad. They're even closing down here in Georgia. They're closing down
disappearing
everywhere.
from the planet?
Disappearing.
That's like a
It's an
Bunsen
endangered
burner thing.
species.
I think only old people eat it. They're just dying off slowly.
Did you guys ever go to one of those Red Lobster birthday parties where they went nuts, Brad and Co. And they got kicked out? No?
No,
I wasn't there either. I didn't know. I thought maybe you were there.
No, I mean he ate a lot. He just ate a lot of shrimp.
They got so drunk and they were so rowdy and they just kept eating. They got kicked out of Red Lobster.
How do you get kicked out of Red Lobster?
I know, that's tough. That's tough.
You can never return to Cheddar Bay. Early results. Do you know what a Bunsen burner is? What I wrote. Do you know what a Bunsen burner?
Okay.
Imagine that the people understood. 157 votes as of right now. What do you think the percentage is?
85% to 90 saying yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Good. All right.
Very glad to hear that.
Call it there. Great stuff. Another classic, at least we think so. You gotta tell us by liking the video, subscribing, sharing the show, and leaving your boys a 5-star rating and review on the podcast platform of your choice. Just one game tonight. Nuggets, Timberwolves, 8:30 on ESPN. Denver can try and move on to the conference finals. We'll see if the Wolves can give us a game 7. So that's only game on tonight. Can't wait to talk about it tomorrow on the Drop Podcast. If you're a Survivor fan, we're talking about the penultimate episode of Survivor 46 later today, 1 o'clock Eastern, over on No Buff's YouTube page. It's got its own podcast page as well, or feed, so subscribe to that. Great episode to talk about. Can't wait to get into this with JD and Trey. But that's later on today at 1 o'clock. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Talk some more hoops. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Red Lobsters are shutting down, but Applebee's are thriving. I saw that on Survivor.
Oh my God, they are thriving on Survivor. They can't stop talking about Applebee's on Survivor.
That Bourbon Street mushroom burger.
It's a good name.
Praise the name, people.